Obviously, classic is the eyes. But if you have a smile that brightens my day, then I would be sure to brighten yours too.
All right. So for Bachelor 1, I think our contestant has a very specific question for you.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Wait, I'm asking?
Yeah.
Sorry. Okay, Bachelor 1. What genre of music do you like? And do you like live music, like concerts?
Oh, okay. Great question. I love R&B. I love rap and alternative rock. My favorite artist is Kid Cudi, and as far as concerts and everything, I haven't been to a whole lot, but I do love raves. I want to go to CDC. I've never been, and maybe if this works out, we could go together sometime.
Wow.
That's perfect, because I actually wanted to go to EDC this year, but...
Let's set it up. It's a date.
Okay, Bachelor 2. What do you look for in a relationship?
Loyalty, mostly. Long-term relationship. I really want someone who's loyal, who knows what they want, and just strives off that.
Very nice. Bachelor 3. What's your idea of a first date? Like your ideal date?
I'd say I'd take you to the planetarium because you certainly belong with the other heavenly bodies.
Okay. I see Bachelor number 3.
Let's go.
Okay. This is gonna be for all of you guys. What's your astrology sign? Bachelor 1.
Oh, I'm a Leo.
Okay. Bachelor 2.
I'm a Leo as well.
Wow.
Bachelor 3.
I am a Capri Sun. I think that's what they call it.
Capricorn?
Yeah, that one.
Okay, nice.
It's a classic.
Very tasty, yeah.
Okay. Next section.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. Bachelor 1, would you say you're a funny person?
Absolutely, yes.
All right. Bachelor 2, do you have any pet peeves?
I would say no, to be honest. If I get to know you, if I meet you, get to know you, I don't think it would be a pet peeve of mine.
Bachelor 3, what do you find most attractive in a girl personality-wise?
Oh, she's goofy. She's gotta be funny. If you're just kind of like a stick in the mud, it's no fun. Even if you're a 10 out of 10 and you have no personality, no, you can't make me laugh, and it's no go.
All right. Let's see. Okay, this is gonna be for all of you guys. Bachelor 1, how tall are you?
Oh no, this is where it starts.
I'm 5'8".
All right.
Okay.
Bachelor 2, how tall are you?
I'm 5'11".
All right. Bachelor 3, how tall are you?
5'9".
Oh no, man.
Yeah. Sorry, we didn't make the 6-foot cut. I think Bachelor 2 is in the lead now.
Good thing Spark the Flame is not about looks, it's all about personality, right?
Yes, this is true. This is true.
This statement is true. All right. Now it's time for our mini game. Our mini game will consist of the bachelors drawing on whiteboards, but you have to tell them what to draw.
Okay.
Whatever the contestant likes the most, whatever the contestant picks and chooses is the best, that bachelor will win. And you have 90 seconds to draw, and your time starts now.
Who do I tell them?
Oh yeah, that's right.
Oh, okay.
My bad.
Draw a dinosaur.
Dinosaur.
No. Let's go.
3, 2, 1, go. All right, so while they're drawing, let's get to know our contestant. So, what's your favorite movie?
It's gonna be bad, bro.
Movie?
Oh no.
I kind of like scary movies, but
Scary movies, okay.
I don't know. The Conjuring goes pretty hard.
Conjuring,
so,
dude.
Yeah.
That movie, when I first saw that, man, that was like one of the scariest movies I've ever seen. What's your favorite part of it, of that movie?
I think the story of it, like how it's like a true story. So
Oh, yeah.
I find it cool how they're like actually have done that.
Yeah, there's actually events that happen like that.
Yeah, that's crazy.
What about, but like besides a horror movie,
Like a movie.
like just a different movie?
Trying to think off the top of my head. I don't know. I would just say The Conjuring.
Conjuring, okay.
Yeah.
And do you like cats or dogs?
Definitely dogs. I have a dog.
You know, I was a dog lover, but I just recently got this cat. It's like my cat is like a dog. It's crazy, you know.
Yeah.
What's your favorite type of dog?
Wiener dog for sure.
Wiener dog.
Wiener dogs are like the
Okay.
cutest dog ever.
Have you seen those? Or you've seen pit bulls, right?
Yeah.
That's my dog.
Oh.
All right, and your time's up.
Oh no. Oh no.
I'll go ahead and grab. Oh, that's pretty good actually.
No, this is not good.
It's not good. It's good. I like his.
All right.
I can't draw,
Just
guys.
draw another tattoo.
Now you get to choose.
I can't draw.
What is this? Man drew a plane. Or
For
those
real.
clouds, I don't know.
He was usually the plane.
I drew plane.
Next one. That one actually was pretty good. I'm not
Okay,
gonna lie.
so when I asked for this, I was looking for something like
Yeah.
like something
No, I
like
should've.
cute.
This looks like a Tyson chicken nugget, bro. What are you talking about?
Oh my god.
Okay, I'm gonna go with this one.
You're gonna go the
This one-
Dino
okay,
Nugget?
This one is the best one.
Okay,
but-
number
Is it-
3 is the best.
I was looking for this. That's
All right.
what I was looking for.
All right, sounds good.
This
All right.
one, I don't know what it is, so
Yeah.
That's probably mine.
no offense, no offense.
This one's a diamond chicken nugget.
I don't know.
Oh, that's right. Okay. This one is the winner, number 2.
Oh,
It looks like a dinosaur nugget.
Oh.
The best one was number 3. Kind of looks like a velociraptor with a heart. Number 1 definitely lost. It kind of looks like
It's from Alien, dude.
from Alien. Even though it's supposed to be a dinosaur,
No,
not
it's
an
true.
alien. But
That's a good point.
oh well. Now, it's time to choose.
Oh my god.
Which contestant will you choose?
I don't know. Y'all were very nice. Y'all were good. I think I'm gonna go with the one that said they wanted to go to EDC. Cause I
EDC?
really love raves, so I think I'll have to go with 1.
Number 1, all right. All right, number 1, come on over.
No, I'm so scared.
Am I going around?
Yeah, come
Oh,
on.
my bad.
She chose a good guy.
Hi, how's it going?
Number 1.
Wait, I mean, I don't even know who you are.
It's nice to meet you. I'm
Nice
Josh.
to meet you. Nice to meet
All right. Why don't you introduce yourself?
It's nice to meet
fully?
you. I'm Josh.
Oh yeah.
you. I'm Jaden.
Can't wait to go to EDC.
Okay, yeah.
Wait, do
EDC?
I have to go like this or something?
Oh yeah, no, it's all good.
My butt. Okay.
Are you a cats or dogs person?
I'm a dogs person, 100%. But I love cats too. I'm just allergic.
Allergic. Okay.
Me too.
All right. Sounds good. Well, you can go back over there.
Okay. It's nice meeting you.
Nice meeting you too.
All right.
Do I get to see all them or just some?
Is she allowed to see all of them? Yeah. Why don't you go across? We'll go across.
Oh, go, okay.
Oh no.
No, it's okay. You can stay over there.
Wait, go
It's all
first.
right.
Let's go.
Oh yeah, I'll go through.
You don't have to see it. You don't have to-
Hey,
All right.
guys.
There's number 2. Number 3.
Nice to meet you guys.
Nice to
I'm
meet you.
Jaden. Okay.
Yeah, I think that's good.
All right, cool. Very nice.
All right.
Like, no.
Very good.
Did you have fun?
How was your experience?
Yeah.
It was good. Honestly, I was super scared, but it was fine after a little bit.
A little
I don't know if we're
nerve-wracking.
done. So.
I can't believe you said my drawing.
What? All right. All right. My name is Judah. I'm your host. Thank you for watching Spark That Flame. We'll see you next time. Thank you very much.
But ever since we have shared a cover, all my pictures saturate. And now I won't ever see the world the same again. My focus is you, love. It's not hard to choose, love. It all feels so new, love. You're pulling me through, I swear that it's true. My focus is you, love. It's not hard to choose, love. It all feels so new, love. You're pulling me through, I swear that it's true. My focus is you, love. 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 You're pulling me through, I swear that it's true. You can dream in color, but I've been living gray. But ever since we have shared a cover, all my pictures saturate. And now I won't ever see the world the same again. My focus is you, love. It's not hard to choose, love. It all feels so new, love. You're pulling me through, I swear that it's true. My focus is you, love. It's not hard to choose, love. It all feels so new, love. You're pulling me through, I swear that it's true. My focus is you, love. 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 You're pulling me through, I swear that it's true.
So our first question is, how do you maintain a healthy long distance relationship?
I'll leave that to you, Val.
It takes a lot of trust. You have to have trust and really open communication. I think that's most important. I've been in a healthy long distance relationship for 11 years, and we're really happy, but we're not really suspicious or jealous, so it works well.
And do you still maintain regular communication?
Constantly. We talk 3 or 4 times a day.
Wow.
That makes a
That's a
difference.
lot.
Yeah.
I think
That's
if
great.
my relationship with my ex were long distance, it probably would have survived.
I think you honestly talk more with your significant other than I do with my wife. You know.
You
It's
know what?
pretty
We have
great.
discussed that with some of our friends who are married, and we've calculated like the number of hours we spend together when we are together, and we do spend more time together than our friends who actually live in the same house with each other but work all day. And
Yeah, I believe
so, but we're really conscious about the time we spend together.
Yeah, intentionality, quality over quantity.
it. Right. I guess maybe that's sort of a product of being long distance. When you are together, you
Yeah.
try to make the most of it.
Yeah, it takes, like you really have to be strategic about your time together.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I think you have to be strategic about your time, even if you're living together, right?
Oh, yeah.
Intentionality should
Yeah.
be part of all of your relationships, regardless of the distance.
Totally agree.
And I think that would improve the quality of relationships.
Definitely.
I think we struggle with that though, you know, being
Yeah.
intentional. It's easy to get complacent.
100%. 100%.
Well, and I wouldn't call it lazy though.
Okay.
I
yeah.
would say it's not necessarily lazy, it's just that we get caught up in life, like all
Right.
the other things that we have to take care of in life. And you kind of trust that person to be there regardless. So you just
That's it.
kind of refocus and end up hyper focused on other things, while in the back of your mind just knowing, well, they're going to be there, they're still going to be there, and then time gets away from you.
Yeah.
I
I think we
experienced
can
that.
take it for granted, right? We can take
Yeah.
it for granted. And that's why intentionality is so important. If you continue dating, even after you're married or committed, it actually helps to improve just the zest in the relationship.
True.
Totally agree.
Speaking of dating, why don't we go on to the second question? Why do people turn to online dating?
I don't like the word turn to.
Right.
Like it's the
It's-
worst alternative.
Right.
It actually does tend to be like a primary go-to. At all stages of life, people are utilizing online dating.
Yeah.
And I think for many people it's because they're busy, right? It's more convenient. There's a pool of people who are interested and have your shared interests, and there's different platforms that allow you to kind of migrate toward people that have whatever interest you're seeking through that platform. And so I think it can become a very good use of technology, but you have to be safe.
Right. And like you were saying, the question sort of suggests that it's something new, but it's been around forever.
Yeah,
Or it's like a last ditch effort.
exactly.
You can't find anybody in your neighborhood, and then I go online if I have to.
Right.
But it is a first choice for a lot of people.
I've never tried it. Have either of you done online dating?
I have.
Yeah.
It's a lot of work.
Yeah.
It's a lot of work. Yeah, and your thumb or your finger gets tired. But I think again, intentionality matters, and being intentional on who you're selecting, and really trying to get to know their profile and get to know them, and are they really aligning with their profile in your conversation, and then when you have the opportunity to meet them, of course you need to make sure there's no catfishing going on, and that they're genuine and authentic in what they present. But that's the case in all dating, right?
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. So number 3, when is it the right time to ask someone on a date? That's tough.
When you're inspired.
Yeah.
Well, not in a classroom, not in a classroom. I'm not in the middle of a group project, right? Sometimes I have to tell students when I put them in groups, now, this is a professional environment, so treat them like a colleague. So if it's in a school context, I would say after class is over.
Right.
Yeah.
Same in the workplace.
So you don't create awkward circumstances.
Yeah.
But other than that, I think if you're meeting someone in public that you're interested in and you're inspired, I think any time is the right time.
But definitely in person, right? Not by text message.
I don't know.
Phone,
I
maybe?
think sometimes it's appropriate to ask to use technology or text messaging. You think that's okay, Tom?
Well, I think it's okay. I know people do it. I don't have anything against it, but I think that in person requires a bit more effort.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think you have to be a little more secure
Yeah.
in yourself.
Yes.
For that initial face-to-face interaction because of the potential for rejection.
Right.
And that's maybe a little harder to take face-to-face.
Right.
It's a little bit easier to disconnect from that when you're online.
Yeah.
And so I think that presenting yourself face-to-face just takes a little more self-assuredness.
Yeah, I will say so. I know it's funny because, I'm older. I'm in my 50s, and my daughters, sometimes I get DMs in social media, and I'm like, I don't know this person. And my daughters are like, Mom, like, that's the way it's done now. They're flirting with you. They want to go out with you. And I'm like, oh, okay. So I think that we might be more comfortable in a face-to-face setting, but I think the youth is very normal. They're very used to meeting each other and communicating with each other through social media, and someone slides into your DMs and chats with you, and that very much can be a mechanism by which they ask each other out, and it's okay. But the face-to-face, it does present that risk of rejection. I love the number 20, where it talks about why are we afraid to be vulnerable when dating? Because of that rejection, right? Yeah. But vulnerability breeds intimacy. Yeah. We have to be willing to take those risks and put ourselves out there. It goes back to the saying, it's better to have loved and have lost than to never have loved at all. You have to be willing to risk that vulnerability and rejection. And that brings authenticity to the relationship that actually gives it a greater chance of success.
So along those lines, should you ask someone out that you haven't really met? That maybe you see across the class and you think, oh, it'd be interesting to spend time with them?
Well, I don't know about across the class. So,
not asking them in the classroom, but somebody that you've just seen.
Sure, I think that's perfectly acceptable to say, hey, I just want you to know I really appreciated some of the ideas you shared. I feel like maybe we have some things in common, and I find you attractive, and I'd love the opportunity to maybe have a drink or connect and see if there's opportunity, if they're available, of course.
And I think that's fine too. I think that it should be treated just like you would in the workplace, in the classroom, right? Obviously, nobody wants to be filling out a sexual harassment complaint or anything like that. So you tread lightly, use your best judgment, but yeah.
And don't be creepy about it. Well, don't be like, hey,
True.
I think when you are new to dating and new to relationships, the definition of creepy varies. So what might seem really creepy to one person might seem like adorable and quirky to somebody else. And so that's where, again, open communication comes in.
Yeah.
Yeah, looking back on my history, I wish I was more bold about asking people out. I feel like I missed some opportunities just because I didn't feel comfortable. I wasn't willing to be vulnerable.
Right. And I also think we have to get comfortable with rejection.
Yeah.
Rejection's okay, right? I'm not for everybody, and that's okay. We all have different preferences, and we're attracted to different things. And so I'm okay with that. So
Yeah, I think it takes time though to get to
it
that
does.
point.
And practice. And
Yes.
practice.
I used to tell a friend of mine who would, you know, she'd always come to me after every breakout, and it was like so dramatic. And one time I said, you know, you really need to practice breaking up. She was just appalled that I could say such a thing. And I'm like, no, you have to practice and get the hang of it, because every breakup cannot end up looking like this.
Right.
And now, you know, we've been friends now for 30 years. So now she's like, okay, I see what you were saying. But at the time, it was just a foreign idea. And it's like, no, we need to practice rejection.
Yes. Is she good at it now?
She's much better.
So we need to practice giving rejection and, receiving rejection. Agreed. Agreed.
Should we continue down the list?
Yeah,
Sure. Okay. So number 4 is, how do you set boundaries?
I think, obviously I don't know where this student was coming from with this, but
Yeah.
I don't believe that you can set boundaries for someone else. You can only set boundaries for yourself.
Yes.
True.
And I think what I hear when I'm talking to my students about these sort of things is, when it comes to the discussion of boundaries, the focus tends to be on what I expect of other people and what I'm going to tell them they can or can't do around me. And it's like, that doesn't really work, because you can't control right, what other people are doing around you. You can set up boundaries for yourself in terms of what you will tolerate and when you are going to say, okay, this is enough, I don't want any more of this, I'm out. Or be able to say, well, I thought this was okay at one time and now I don't, so this is my boundary of what I want in my life, and I can share that, but I can't make anybody else do anything.
So you're talking about, like, you internally have to kind of regulate yourself and determine, you know, in a situation what I identify as being uncomfortable or outside of my boundaries, and then I have to set it for myself. And I think that's sound advice. I do think it's important. So how do you set boundaries? To me, early, often, and explicitly. So having direct communications and early in the relationship. And it doesn't have to be, well, let's talk about boundaries today, right? But having conversations about what our expectations are, what our needs are, maybe even what our triggers are, particularly if we come from a background of trauma. You know, as someone that's a survivor myself, there's certain things that are very uncomfortable for me. And so I believe in having those conversations just very early in the relationship.
Yeah. I think that that's true. Also, keep in mind that things change.
Exactly.
So again, we're back to open communication, because there are things that I decided were boundaries like 3 years into my marriage. It's like, okay, we need to talk about this again or revisit this issue that we hadn't discussed before, because I didn't know it was an issue. Right, until it happened and happened again. And then, you know, it's like, okay, this is something we have to address.
And things change not just in that long time frame, but in the moment. So even consent changes in the moment. And I can be engaged in an intimate act with you, and in that moment decide this isn't comfortable for me and step away. And so that's also part of your boundary setting, is speaking up in that moment. As you're feeling uncomfortable, we don't need to be silenced. We can speak up and say, this is uncomfortable for me. This conversation or this activity is uncomfortable. And so, you know, I'd like to stop. I'd like to break away. And those boundaries should be respected immediately.
And I think some, especially young people, are concerned about speaking up because they don't want to be rejected. And we talked about getting used to that rejection, being willing to do what's right for you, even though it might not be right for someone else, and that might be the end of a relationship.
And that's okay if that person is not respectful of your evolving needs and boundaries, then that's okay if that's the end of the relationship, right?
I agree.
Were there any questions on here any of you are particularly interested in?
Well, did you want to talk about how your bodies and brains decide who we like?
I don't know.
As a
It seems so
neuroscientist?
dry at this point.
You think?
Yeah. We could do love at first sight. Sounds interesting.
Oh, do
Have
you
you-
believe it's real?
Have either of you?
No.
No.
I don't know.
I think lust at first sight is real, but not love. Love is
Yeah, love is
intentionality and choice.
Awesome. Well, that's a good way to end. Is that it?
It is now.
I thought she was counting
I
us
think
down.
we're still on.
You can dream in color, but I've been living gray. But ever since we have shared a cover, all my pictures saturate. But now I won't ever see the world the same again. My focus is you, love. It's not hard to choose, love. It all feels so new, love. You're pulling me through, I swear that it's true. My focus is you, love. It's not hard to choose, love. It all feels so new, love. You're pulling me through, I swear that it's true. My focus is you, love. 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 You're pulling me through, I swear that it's true. You can dream in color, but I've been living gray. But ever since we have shared a cover, all my pictures saturate. And now I won't ever see the world the same again. My focus is you, love. It's not hard to choose, love. It all feels so new, love. You're pulling me through, I swear that it's true. My focus is you, love. It's not hard to choose, love. It all feels You can dream in color, but I've been living gray. But ever since we have shared a cover, all my pictures saturate. And now I won't ever see the world the same again. My focus is you, love. It's not hard to choose, love. It all feels so new, love. You're pulling me through, I swear that it's true. My focus is you, love. It's not hard to choose, love. It all feels so new, love. You're pulling me through, I swear that it's true. My focus is you, love. 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 You're pulling me through, I swear that it's true. You can dream in color, but I've been living gray. But ever since we have shared a cover, all my pictures saturate. And now I won't ever see the world the same again. My focus is you, love. It's not hard to choose, love.
Welcome to Love in Retrospect. We'll be looking at how dating has evolved over the generations. And I'm your host, Ricky Toth. I'd like to welcome our guests. Thank you guys so much for being here today. We're going to go ahead and start off with Dan Turlow. Dan, you are from our Generation Z. Tell us about yourself.
Hi, so I'm Dan. My pronouns are he, him, or they, them. As you mentioned, I'm from Generation Z. And I'm very excited to be here.
Thanks so much, Dan. Next, from the Millennial Group, we have Mary Bell. Mary, welcome. Thanks so much for being here today. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, my name is Mary Bell. My pronouns are they, them, or she, her. I am a femme-presenting, non-binary, neurodivergent. And professionally, I am a technical director. I'm also a teacher here at MSJC.
Wonderful. Thanks so much for being here today. Lastly, we have Dr. Roy Mason. Roy, you are from our boomer generation. Welcome. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, thank you, Ricky. First of all, I kind of, as I was thinking about this, I thought, oh my gosh, I have to apologize to all the rest of the boomers. That I'm representing them. Our group. Well, first of all, there were so many of us, and secondly, it was so diverse. And I think a lot of people don't realize there was really two boomer generations. Mm-hmm. There was my generation, boomer ones, and that was post Second World War, 1945 to about 1954, and then there was boomer number two, and that's basically my brother's generation, which was post the Korean War. Mm-hmm. And so that's 1955 to 1965. And when I was thinking about that, you have to understand that there was a huge difference between growing up in the 40s and the 50s compared to growing up in the 50s and the 60s. Our country had gone through so many incredible changes. So again, I looked at that in my case, representing that boomer one generation, I probably have a very different approach than even my brother's boomer two generation, and certainly different than everybody else that came afterwards.
So your answers are between boomer one and two, your answers are gonna change a little bit if we ask maybe someone else of a different boomer. So we're going to jump into evolution of dating. And we're going to talk about how dating has evolved from our younger generation into our older generation. So what I want to talk to you guys first about the positive aspects. We're going to start off on a good note here. So what are some of the positive aspects of dating that you guys could say that you've noticed from each of your generations?
That is a really challenging question. Because dating is canonically, according to TikTok, a very hard thing to do.
Yes.
I think for me, one of the positives is I'm not naturally a social butterfly. I'm in a party, I'm like a wallflower. I will watch the room. I won't necessarily participate.
Are you one of those people, if there's a dog there, you're like, I will be hanging out
I'm
with
the
you?
dog person. Yes.
See?
I'm also a dog trainer.
It's okay. I've seen that on TikTok too. People go nuts when there's a dog at a party and there's the one person there.
That's me. I'm the dog person. So, I think one of the positives is actually getting to like put myself out there and meet people, which is not a skill that I have personally worked on a lot. I like keeping to myself. I like my dogs. I like my routines. And putting myself out there, I think, is, while it's challenging, it is a positive aspect of dating.
That's true. Roy, what would you have to say?
Well, I think one of the most positive things about dating in my generation, and folks, you have to realize I haven't been on a date with anybody but my wife for the last 50 years. Okay, so my dating experience is pretty old, but in my generation, dating was very personal. And I don't mean that in terms of sharing all your secrets or anything, but it was in person. You had an opportunity to not only talk to the person, but to see them, to experience those nonverbal kinds of communication things that I think generations now perhaps miss some of that.
You had to be present actually face to face.
Absolutely.
Any photos or anything.
With all the warts and pimples and everything, it was.
Dan, what would you have to say about anything positive with dating over the generations?
For me, I feel like one of the positive things is that my generation has had like a lot more exposure to like that kind of normalization of like therapy and being open about emotions and being able to like understand and identify when something is going right or wrong and having that language to be able to communicate with each other to kind of figure that out, which I feel like, I mean, I don't know, in the past it kind of looked to me more like we're just going to ignore this, there's going to be an elephant in the room, whereas like with my generation, we're going to talk about it, we're going to address it. Like we're going to use the language that we have to figure this problem out.
There's a lot more confidence there. Like you're going to address the problem, you're going to be present. I like that. So now we talk about how dating is the first thing. So let's talk into the ultimate goal, depending on the generation of dating. Let's talk about marriage a little bit. Now, how has marriage, that view changed for you guys? Something from a long-term relationship leading into marriage. What would you guys say with that aspect? How has it maybe changed, or what do you guys currently view it as within your generation?
Well, Rick, maybe I should start with that. You know, when I think about marriage, of course, the role models that I had and my generation had were our parents, and you know that was the great generation. Those were the people that were born pre the Great Depression, and that marriage was something that was commitment, you know, and it was, and again, I feel like in my case, it was a very positive commitment, but their commitment was the basis of it. It was, you're going to commit to somebody for the rest of your life, and it was going to be in sickness and in health, and it didn't matter what all the rest of the stuff happened, you were going to be there for the rest of it. And I think that certainly in the Boomer One generation, that was the basis that when we got old enough to make that kind of was what that's what marriage was.
And you had that role model, it seemed like, actually in the house, seeing mom and dad and now you are role modeling that.
Mm-hmm.
How about Mary, Dan?
You know, I think something that the millennial generation has done, for the better or worse, depending on your view, is there's been a lot of destigmatizing of divorce. You know, speaking of marriage, you know, divorce is an option that has always existed but has socially been kind of frowned upon. And, you know, depending on what generation you're in, it's almost shameful to get divorced. And I think the millennial generation has done a really good job of destigmatizing that, in the sense that if you are in a marriage that is dangerous or unhealthy for you and your health or you and your children, whether you are male or female or non-binary or whatever, that you are less likely to be shamed or ostracized for the choice of trying to escape that dangerous situation. And so I can appreciate the boomer aspect of, I was raised by boomers, both of my parents are boomers, actually both boomer generations. And so I can appreciate the commitment, and marriage is a commitment. And I also think I appreciate the kind of defend yourself in what is best for you attitude.
I think too, between Dan, Gen Z, and you as a millennial, between you guys, mental health is something that's become really important, and we've been able to really see that. And you mentioned divorce, and that's kind of an act of courage right there. It takes one person. So our next, what I want to kind of phase into, we've kind of talked about the positives. What are some of the challenges that you guys saw within the generations when you guys were in those relationships, looking for a relationship? What is going to be a challenge you guys would say?
Yeah.
Well, again, Ricky, I look at those and growing up in the late 40s and the 50s was very different than being a teenager and a young adult in the 60s, because things totally changed. You talk about divorce statistics in the 1950s. 90% of women in that age category were married. And 10 years later, by 1960, that had dropped to 60%. And so this incredible change, this revolution in just the relationships between people. So my generation went from commitment to the summer of love, and it was just 180 degrees different. So that was really a different time to be growing up in terms of that.
I mean, I think to tack on to that, part of that is some of the freedoms that women have obtained through the course of time, because in the 60s was about the time that women were allowed to get credit cards. And so financial freedom was a lot more readily available for women or female presenting people. And so I think, I think marriage is the ultimate goal for people who are dating, or for most people, at least a long-term commitment. I don't know that we necessarily need to call it marriage because it looks different for generations, but I do think it's interesting such a huge shift happened over the course of 20-ish years once women had the right to do things like get credit cards.
No, that brings a different thing. Dan, would you have to add any challenges in there?
Yeah, I don't really, honestly, because I'm kind of on the younger side, I don't really have like a whole lot of experiences. Most of the experiences with dating that I've had have been positive, and also I just kind of have a smaller dating pool because I'm both queer and transgender. So there's it kind of shrinks down. I don't, I was thinking before, I was a little worried because I feel like I have a smaller perspective on that than most people would.
But if you had to take yourself out of the situation, and let's just say you and Dr. Mason, you guys switched places. Anybody at a younger age would be impersonable. You're still learning. So you're in a great stage right now too, where you're learning. So next, what I want to do is I want to talk, and we're gonna go. This is gonna be. I'm gonna start off with you first.
Okay,
You're gonna be the spotlight for this next one. We're gonna talk about technology. So until the 90s, we did not have computers at our fingertips. I'm sure everybody has. It's two competitions. You either have an iPhone or an Android. So that changed from what we were talking about with you, Roy. You had to be present in the moment, or as they say, in real life. And now you're switching over to a technology kind of based dating. So let's talk about the websites, the social medias. How has social media changed dating? So Dan, let's start off with you. What social media platforms do you have? We'll start out with that.
I mostly use Instagram for communication and staying in touch with people.
Okay.
That's like my main platform that I use, and then obviously TikTok. Those are like my main two.
Okay. Perfect. Mary, what about for you? What kind of, let's see if we got some different social medias that you're in from Dan.
I too am very much on the Instagram and the TikTok. But I also think that we could include dating apps in this topic.
Oh,
and I just met my current partner back in January on Hinge. And I have had mixed success with dating apps. We can talk about that or not.
Yes.
I don't. But dating apps are a whole different breed of social media. So yeah, and I'm also on Facebook. I'm trying to think of anything else that I have. I think those are the main.
Okay.
Yeah.
Roy, what kind of social media can we
gosh.
expect from you?
I still use a telephone, my cell phone, to call people. So
Okay.
I have no social media, but technology really changed because of the technology that I had. You got to remember, we didn't have a black and white TV in my house until I was 12 years old. We had one telephone on the wall in the kitchen, and it had a little egg timer on top of it. And if my dad was home, as soon as you got on the phone, he flipped that egg timer, and 3 minutes later, if you weren't done, he hung it up. That was our technology, and I mean, you had absolutely no privacy. And I look at it now, and I have some friends, widows, that have done it. They're now on those things, and it's really a mixed bag because it's so different for us to get ourselves out there like that. Where in the past we just didn't have those experiences.
Now, I have to ask you, do you still have a landline? Because I know a lot of people have gone away from them. Do you still have a landline?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. I'm hoping it's a cordless one. No more curly cues, right? Or do we?
It is definitely a cordless one.
Okay.
But it still has the old answering machine.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So now, when we talk about being on social media, and it's all digital. You have filters now. You have things like Snapchat where you can do different things. You can apply a whole different thing to your face. What do you guys see that as being a negative? If I can almost label it as like a catfish, what would you guys say? Have you guys experienced any of that? Have you guys heard, seen? Let's talk about that a little bit with social media and how it can alter someone's appearance. It's a tricky one. It is a tricky one because it's kind of something that's out there, but it's a hard pill to swallow that it exists.
Yeah, I mean, anybody who watches Netflix, there's a whole reality TV show based around this, which is called The Circle. And it is a purely isolated social media competition type thing. And anyways, that's off topic. But, I think there's a perception of standardized beauty, whether you're female or male presenting. And I think that one of the challenges that I personally have run into is, I am a rather curvy, tall human, and I am not the average stick figure model size 2 tall woman or tall femme presenting. And a lot of people tend to not want a curvier body or look down upon curvier or larger bodied people. And so I've definitely experienced negatives as far as that goes, where, you know, I've been on a date with someone and then it hasn't gone further for reasons beyond my control of they just didn't like how I looked or how I present myself. Yeah, boo. Right?
Them, because, you know, it's one of those things where with social media, it's expanded our audience.
Yeah.
And, you know, you guys were mentioning those dating apps. You could set your location and look like you're in Irvine, you're in Orange County. And so with that, it does make you appeal to a whole different audience, and it gives you that comparison on what's really out there. And it all kind of alters our mind on it gives us a false expectation almost too, I will say with that. Now, with the technology that we have and FaceTime, I know Skype used to be around, not so much anymore, but would you guys say that, like, how that communication using that technology, FaceTime, text messaging, phone calls, if you guys had to say a preference for you and someone who you're communicating with to form a relationship, what are going to be some things that you guys find important? You guys want to FaceTime? Do you prefer the late night phone calls, the text messages?
For me, late night phone calls and text messages, those are like, especially like the late night phone calls, those are like my love language. I love receiving them. I love like
the words of affirmation.
Yeah,
There you go.
I love like calling up my partner when I've had like a bad day and I'm like, hey, I love you, like just getting to hear his voice. And
that's great, because a lot of people don't like talking on the phone. So getting that vocal emotion is something great as well.
Yeah, I, in my younger years, definitely preferred text or phone call. I think now I prefer FaceTime, because studies have shown that while we all know that most of our communication is nonverbal, something like 80% of it is nonverbal. 50% of that is your body language, and the other 30% is your inflection and tone. And so the words that you say don't necessarily matter. It's how you say them and the intent behind them that is shown through your body language. And so as I've gotten older, I've started to prefer more like FaceTime things, because as a neurodivergent person, it's sometimes hard to read context.
Yeah.
And a thing I like to add about that is something that my generation has kind of brought is like tone tags. And like, because I think it's very clear to anyone who has ever texted someone that like it's very easy for miscommunication to happen, especially when you're just reading text. So my generation, I know quite a few of us tend to use like tone tags, which are like you'll have like /SRS, which means serious, or like /GEN, which means like genuine. So you can kind of negate that.
It's like we might know them as like abbreviations.
Yeah.
But so it looks like that's all the time that we have, and as you guys can see, across the generations, things have changed. And as you guys, it's up to you to kind of fit in what's going to be best, what's going to fit for you. But that's what's unique about all of us, is we're our own individual person. So I'd like to thank everybody out there for watching. Thank you guys so much for being here today. It was so great to actually me being your guys' host and learning from you guys as well. And I hope everybody out there got to learn as well.
Thank you, Ricky.
Thank you.
Appreciate it very much.
Bye.
Take care.
But ever since we have shared a cover, all my pictures saturate. And now I won't ever see the world the same again. My focus is you, love. It's not hard to choose.